Hey, Skelly. Well, had a couple little adventures today. Miner's crap. Down this name on YouTube. We have a couple of wireless access points throughout our building. This is normal, everyday stuff for businesses nowadays. There's something wrong with the way Windows handles the infrastructure design. The infrastructure design with Wi-Fi is you have 5 or 6 different Wi-Fi access points, the little things with the antennas, all spread out throughout the building. They're all on different channels. They all have the same name and they all have the same information to log in. They all have some credentials to log in. And you set it to infrastructure, and what it's supposed to do is you walk from one to the next, to the next, to the next. And it's supposed to switch, kind of like cell phone towers, but in a little bit cheesier way, back and forth to the different access points, and you're supposed to get continuous coverage all the way through. This doesn't work. Half the time, what'll happen is you go from your office to a conference room, you sit down, and the access point you're trying to access is working, because I can walk up to it with another device and log right into it. But from the device that you have, let's say it's switched over to access point number 1, now you're trying to get into access point number 4. What happens is, if it can still see access point number 1 in the list, it'll try to connect to that one, even though access point 4 is 10 times as strong. But access point 4 is highest on the list, so part of the software tries to access the closer access point, and part of the software tries to log into the old access point. So you get a deadlock. There's a million ways around it. Basically what you have to do is you have to tell the software to shut up and start over again. You can go into the software, you say disconnect, and you go to properties and you say, give me, here's the credentials all over again. It'll do a rescan at that point, and you can get in to the closer one. And in some cases, depending on how you're set up, you can just turn the transmitter off, count to 10 and turn it back on. And if everything's set up properly, it'll auto sync to the closest access point. So it'll do the whole scan thing all over again. If you have aftermarket software, you can just tell it, look, shut up and go do a rescan. I want to connect to this one, not that other one. But most software try to dumb it down for you so you can't pick your access point. One thing that cracks me up, the most control I have of any wireless devices on my phone, my Android phone. I have this Wi-Fi finder software that was free, and I can sit there and look at the MAC address of my access point, and I can pick and choose which one I want to try to log into. And I can sit there and watch my phone do the same thing. It'll sit there and it will say, you will say, log into access point number 1, and you'll be logged into access point number 1. As you're walking, you'll sit there and watch the other access points become stronger and stronger and overtake access point number 1. So when you walk up put the phone right next to access point number 4 and sit there and say, try to log into 4, try to log into 4, and it still sees access point number 1 off in the distance, but it can't log into it because it's being overridden by access point number 4. So you literally have to say, disconnect, forget the other one, log into this one, and it'll do it. And I'm like, that is just too much effort, They need another layer of work on this whole multiple access point thing. One of the tasks I have at work is to create new entities in a database. What happens is we make a device, it has a serial number, and we put the serial numbers in a database. Like I said, this is a normal everyday thing for every company in the world. So you get a device, you have a serial number, it goes in a database. Well, our database also has MAC addresses and has all this other data hooked up to it. And we try to automate things as best we can. Well, today, the root of the problem was I did not notice that we cycled through a year's worth of serial numbers. So it's a slight change in a slightly different spot, and I missed it. So I put a bunch of data, I put 6 entries into this database with the wrong data on them. Now you can't just go into the database and delete them, because you still have a bunch of dead data connections out there. God knows what kind of fits that would cause in a database. So basically, it took me a while to figure out what I had done, and it took me a little while to figure out, okay, I've got these 6 entries in here. I want to try and change those entries, but every time I try to change the numbers on the entries, it acts like the software we have acts like it sees a duplicate entry. even though it's not really a duplicate. Because you can't change them all at once. It'll think it's a duplicate entry. You change one thing at a time in the key fields, it thinks it's a duplicate entry. It basically, I had to back out half the information and alter the other half, and then manually enter the half that I backed out. It turned if I had noticed a damn change, it would have taken me 30 minutes to get this done, tops. It took me 3.5 hours to get the data back out, and I don't have a test database. So, well, I guess I could have created a test database. Of course, that would have been a whole day ordeal. Creating a test database, a test environment, going and deleting the information. It's faster to just go in and delete one, or fix one the way you think it needs to be fixed, and make sure it didn't break anything, and then go fix the other 6, and hopefully you just don't trash the data. It's hair-raising to sit there and work on a production database. This database is not one that everybody and their brother hammers all the time. But of course, if you break it, what are you going to do? Well, you have to revert back to the one that was backed up either last night or the night before. I mean, like I said, what kills me is it turned a 30-minute job into a 3.5 hour ordeal. And it turned out it wasn't even the script that was messed up. I kept trying to go in and fix the script, and that wasn't even the problem. I don't know. It was one of those days where you're sweating bullets. I'm worried that I'm holding people up from getting their job done. And I got to go, okay, find the problem. What happened? Why is it not working? Why am I getting the wrong numbers out of the database? Well, you just go bang, 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 bang. You sit there and try to check every step of every process until you figure out, oh crap, here's what happened. And it turns out it was, the conflict was between the seat and the screen, as we say in the IT biz. It was user error. In this case, I was the user. But in this case also, I'm the admin. I get to go fix it.